Friday's Economic Roundup with Ken Schortgen of thedailyeconomist.com.
Welcome back to the Angel Clark Show on radiofreedom.us. It's Friday. It's Economic Roundup Day. I have on the line with me Ken Schortgen. Ken is the National Finance Examiner for Examiner.com. He has the website, thedailyeconomist.com. And he joins us once a week to talk all things economic. Ken, there's a lot to discuss this evening. In fact, most of the news that I saw was all economics related. So I waited for you. I waited for you. So, and what's going down in Economic Groovetown?
Well, obviously, the big thing of the day was jobs, or should I say, the lack of them. Mm-hmm. Going into today, a number of the investment firms and economic analysts predicted a low range that jobs created would be 160,000 to JP Morgan saying, oh, gosh, no, we're going to have 210,000 jobs created. The number came in at 88,000.
Wow. Talk about being off.
88,000. That was even, that's half of even the lowest estimates on that. But that's not the worst part. The worst part is the number of people who no longer are on unemployment. That number dropped by 663,000 people, fell off the rolls.
Now, these are people that have given up searching for work, right?
Well, that's what the government calls it. What they really are is they're not traced. They're not tracked. If you have a job, you're tracked. If you are getting unemployment insurance, which is good for 99 weeks on for the most part, you're tracked. If you have neither of those, you're no longer tracked. You're no longer considered in the labor pool or looking for a job.
Okay.
That's what it is. They try to spin it as, well, people just have given up. No, it's because the government just doesn't want to add them to the numbers and make the real unemployment rate, which happened to fall. You have the least amount of jobs created in 9 months. You have 663,000 people fall off the rolls, and the unemployment rate falls a 0.1%.
How do they do their math? Like, I don't get that.
Well, that's just it. In 1980, okay, when before the Clinton administration changed how unemployment was done, everybody who was eligible in the labor pool was counted, and that's why you had. Same thing with the 1930s and the Great Depression. That's why you had 25% unemployment. This is why they can't relate this period of time to the Great Depression, because their models are different. Even though, if you look at John Williams at Shadow Stats, right now we're at about 24%. So we are Great Depression era.
Yeah.
Now, to give you a number, what the effect of the labor force pool is, 63%, only 63% of the total amount of eligible workers between the ages of 18 and, say, 65, only 63% of those are actually working, or at least are on unemployment.
Okay.
That's about 90 million people who are not looking for a job or don't have a job. So we've got that. Out of the total of 310 million people in the United States, you take off about 100 million for those under the age of 18 and those who are retired, over 65. So you take out 100 million there. That leaves 200 million. 90 million are what's left working. These are the ones who actually have work. Now you take 20 million of those who work either in the military, federal jobs, state jobs, i.e., they don't produce anything, they don't make a profit, and the only reason they have jobs is because of people's taxes.
They work for the government, yeah. So in other words, the people that are working are paying for their paychecks.
Correct. So you have 20 million there. So you've got 90 million workers, 20 million that jobs that are government. So that leaves 90 million people without a job who are collecting welfare, disability, etc. So when you take a look at that scope, you have 90 million workers who are paying for the lifestyle of 110 million people.
That's not sustainable.
It's not. It's like right now we are approximately at 2 workers for every 1 Social Security benefactor.
Wait, so you mean that? Are you saying that? Can I get you to expand upon that and explain that statement for me?
There are now 2 workers. When you pay your Social Security insurance each time coming out of your paycheck, for everybody who is receiving Social Security right now, there are 2 workers for every 1 person on Social Security. I.e., there's 90 million workers. There's 45 million Social Security. The Social Security versus the disability part.
Okay.
45 million people who are on Social Security who are getting. So if you take a look at it, if you're making $5,000 a month, your Social Security insurance taxes that come out of that are approximately going to be $200 per month. And if you take that and you multiply it by 2 people, so $400, and Social Security benefits are usually between $800 and $2,000. So 2 people can't even pay for 1/5 of what 1 person is getting on Social Security.
So once the group now that is working, once they are collecting their Social Security, how many people will it take to pay for what they get? Wow, I mean that's kind of scary to think about, actually.
Well, it makes you wonder. One of the many reasons why this administration wants to bring in illegal aliens, because now they've got more workers to suddenly tax and to pay for all this boondoggle that they've let go by the wayside.
You know what? That actually is a pretty interesting point, because they obviously need to get more workers legally paying their taxes so that it can go into that fun little Ponzi scheme that is Social Security. Of course, I don't think that I will ever see a dime of Social Security benefits. I mean, but I mean that we're talking what, like 30 some years at this point, like 32 years or something, 34 or something.
Exactly. And here's the interesting thing. The participation rate in the labor pool right now is now down to the same levels as it was in 1979. During the stagflation years of the end of the Carter administration, the amount of people in America, which was approximately 190 to 200 million people living in the United States, back then there was 90 million people working. Now, we're back down to those levels. So think about it. All this stimulus money, all this additional $85 billion we're putting on national debt and devaluing the currency is accomplishing absolutely nothing. And when you take a look at what's going on now, we're going to transition that coming up in what Japan has done and what it's doing for Japan pretty quick.
Yeah. It's kind of scary to see all of this coming. And to just, it's like we try to tell people, but I don't think that the average person really understands. I mean, these numbers are so ridiculously alarming. And it's completely unsustainable. And yet people just sit back and think the government will save us and protect us and everything will be fine. All right, we have to step away for just a moment. The Angel Clark Show will return. More with Ken Schortgen on RadioFreedom.us.
This is the